And just in case you didn't make a note of the model number, it's a plasma, so we're looking at a Samsung PS50, 50 standing for 50 inch, and it's a B530. It says it's from 2008, and it's a plasma which has been in constant use for quite some time, but the customer says it's suddenly lost its picture, which I suppose is a common fault on plasmas. Certain Samsung plasmas, and around this particular age, were an absolute nightmare to diagnose, because Samsung came up with a looping system where every board would connect to each other, and just disconnecting the board did not necessarily take the short away or help you. Anyway, let's have a look, because with no picture, it could be this board, the main board, it could be the X-main board there that's at fault, it could be the power supply, if the power supply is not giving us the VS and the VA, it could be the logic board here. That's responsible for sending the picture details through to the X-main and the X-main buffer board, sorry, YSUS and the Y-main buffer boards on the left-hand side here. So I'm just having a scout around. This is the normal culprit. It's odds-on favourite whenever you just lose a picture and the TV is coming on. Please remember the TV is not shutting down, which is quite surprising, because on most Samsungs the TV would shut down with a fault, whether it was a screen fault or a board fault. Now what I'm going to do here on the logic board is just disconnect it from the main board and you short all those 4 pins together. That's what I'm doing using this screwdriver. That would send a video signal out, so there's a little test signal to the screen. That would let you know if it's a mainboard problem or not. So if I were to get the video signal on screen now, I would know basically that it's not one of the scan board issues, but I'm still getting nothing. Just to let you know, the TV is coming on, there's audio there, but there's no picture. So VS voltage is 209 volts. You get the details from the screen. Let's check some voltages, and look at that, spot on. They're never usually spot on when they're working. This one's faulty at 209 volts, spot on. That's where you need it to be to stop the speckles and the artifacts. But at the moment we can't even get that close, because we ain't getting the screen up. VA voltage is 56, so let's just have a quick look, see if we can find the VA, and the VA voltage test point is there, and it's 56, look. Once again, it's spot on. Ignore that arrow, I've got no idea why it's there, but I will press a button and get rid of it. So we're still looking at, and it's still odds-on favourite, that it is this board which is favourite. So I got rid of the arrow, thank heavens, to have a problem. And I've just been having a good luck to look at the capacitors, but I can't see anything. So let's just look at the model number, find out if there are any on eBay. LJ9201611A. Type that into eBay, or the LJ41 number, 061 there. Type that into eBay, see what comes up, and look. How much? I was expecting these boards to be around, I don't know, 20, 25 quid tops, or sometimes as a repair kit, which comes in handy because sometimes other people that have worked on these boards knows what's blown on them. Obviously I've gone round with my multimeter and I can't find anything that's blown apart from this transistor. Now it's not blown as such, but a couple of the pins are reading short. They're okay, but the last 2 pins are not very happy, so it could be that. And above where that comes from, there's also a capacitor here, which is also reading short. Sorry, I should explain that that is reading short in circuit. Obviously reading out of circuit, which I've just done, it's absolutely fine, but the short is still there on the board. So could be saving ourselves a little bit of money here, because it could be just this capacitor. Because it is a strange fault, this, as I say, the TV is not shutting down. That capacitor is still reading short, and the TV is not shutting down. So I think if I just remove this capacitor, this SMD capacitor, with a bit of luck, we may get the TV up and running again. And then I will replace this cap because it's vital, obviously. So let me just turn some music down. We'll get the soldering iron out. One thing I did notice earlier is that the Wisas board is getting so hot. I mean, these boards do get hot. Remember, this is a plasma television. This is an energy, power-hungry beast. But they're never usually so hot that you can't get anywhere near them. You can't touch this Wisas, so there's a problem going on somewhere. Not a direct short, but something's not happy. So let me just remove this cap. Let me just stand it on end. So I'm just going to take it out of circuit, but I don't want to take it off the board, because you know what these little things are like. They just disappear. That will do. And now with my multimeter, I'm going to see if the short is still there. And if the short is still there, it means there is a problem on the board somewhere that I've got to find. But I have checked just about every FET, every resistor, every diode, all the usual culprits, and those besides, and I can't find anything. And that cap is fine, as you can see reading there, and the board is still short. So it's not that capacitor that is shutting down the board. There's something else which is running a short across that FET and across that capacitor. So it's a different day now, and I've taken the Wisas out of the TV and decided to have a closer look to see if I can find out what is causing the shorts. Well, it's not necessarily a short, because if it was a short, the voltage would have been cut down. And for some particular reason, it isn't being cut down. And it's none of the usual suspect. So the diodes, the rectifiers, all the transistors are fine. The capacitors, the ones that normally do go pop and cut down the voltage, they're absolutely fine. We've got shorts, as we know, on that transistor and on that cap, but they're not shorted themselves. Something else is causing the short on that particular circuit. And I have tried everything I could by having a look at this board, and I can't see anything. Now, I say I can't see anything. I've got to be honest with you. When I first looked at this board, when I first took the back off the TV, there was something that took my eye, but not because it was looking dodgy, but because it was looking pretty. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but I just saw something and I thought, well, that's quite pretty. And then completely overlooked it. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to zoom in here, so this will happen pretty quick. I'm not editing this. Can you see something there that in a way looks quite pretty? A bit of bling almost, a little bit of bling. And I'm talking about the IC here. And that took my eye because I thought, oh, it's nice, look, it's got a little bit of silver on the top. And isn't that pretty? Well, I discovered that it's not supposed to look like that. And the only way I discovered it, not by going online and looking at photographs, the legend of a man that is Mike Mitchell, my friend and my boss from years ago. And you got to remember a time when the company I worked for, that were Samsung agents, would have been working on these TVs every day of the year. I thought Mike, in his retirement, had been very kind and given me all of his spare parts. Mike found out I was working on this plasma and he said, oh, I'm going to have a look. I think I've still got some plasma boards. And I thought, well, there's not a chance in hell he's going to have these, because they're going for a small fortune on eBay, as you saw. And he got in contact with me and went, oh, I meant to tell you, yeah, I found them. Not only has he found them, I mean, take a look at this. Just move this to one side. I mean, the box doesn't look brand new, but I'm telling you, it is a brand new box that up until yesterday had not been opened. But all these parts are brand new. There were parts that sometimes you'd order for a set. Samsung would send you the whole lot, but you'd only want something from it. And I guess we needed a power supply, because I've got every single board for that plasma. So there's the X-main, there's the control board or logic board, there's the board that we've been working on. That's the little connection to the X-main, goes in the bottom there. And there is the original buffer board. and I'm sure you can tell that it's brand spanking new. What do we call it? New old stock? They've been lying around for 17, 18 years in this box. Let me just put this back over here. And it's only when I opened the box and Mike was here, and because I was saying to Mike, I can't find the short. I can't find this short anywhere. Let me zoom back in. And of course you can see that it's not supposed to have any bling. And also, testing that FET and the capacitor, there's no short reading on it. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is the only fault. As a rule of thumb, years ago, we were always trained up that if you're replacing the YSUS, it is common sense. Expensive common sense, but it's common sense to replace it with the buffer board. So there's the buffer board that matches it. Because if it is the buffer board that's faulty, and you put in a brand new YSUS, well then you know what's going to happen. And of course there's still a chance that the screen that connects to this is faulty, and it could blow it again. But that's a risk I'm going to have to take, because let's be honest, as sad as it is to think about it, but if I don't stick these boards in this TV, and if they do blow up, they're probably going to get stuck in landfill eventually. But let's just hope that it's a problem with the Y main, or a problem with this. I'll put this and that in the TV, and what do you reckon are the chances of it coming on? It's 50-50, isn't it? Let's be honest, it still could be a screen problem. Plasma screens did go. That plasma screen is going to be 18 years old. Hello, Misty. You might go. Plasma screen is going to be 18 years old, but I think we can say it's safe enough now to have a go and do it. Don't you think, girl? Stick it in, which I will do. And I'll do that in part 2 because it's a Sunday afternoon and it's sunny, and I'll get to it tomorrow. But this is a nice little find, and I think it's going to save us.